Well, hello everyone. My name is Daniel Van Horn. I have the pleasure of walking you through how to read and understand and feel confident about your typical chord charts that you see for services or worship teams and so forth. So let's jump right in and hopefully you find some value in this. Right out of the gate, we've got Holy Forever. If you don't really feel comfortable how to read a chord chart, we're just going to walk from top to bottom. You've got the key that we're in, key of C major, which means all the notes that are available to you are right. We've got a tempo of 72, which doesn't really apply to us. That's more the drummers and people keeping track of the metronome. And then your time signature of 4/4, meaning you get about an average of 4 beats per measure versus say a time signature like 6/8, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, just a different way to kind of give value to each chord. All right, so without further ado, we're gonna just go and start with the intro. I'm approaching this chord chart as if you have a decent understanding of basic chord structures and chord theory. So if I look at F, we're looking at F major as a triad. Of course, when we see F, I treat, like worship piano players like artists. Like I could play an F sus2 if I wanted to, or I could play a F major add 2 if I want to. Just because I see F doesn't mean I'm totally boxed in to F major natural. Sometimes I like to play with it. We'll walk through that together. We're going to basically understand what a sus chord is, what a 2 is, what a slash chord is. Some people call this a polychord. What is a minor 7 or a major 7 or extensions for that matter? Sometimes they go up from 6, 7, 9, 11, 13. Those are all called extensions. And then what is this 4 thing right there? And we'll see how far we can get through the song. I think most of it's pretty repetitive. Once you feel confident in the key that you're in with most of these chords, the songs that we typically do on Sunday get pretty repetitive. It's very rare that they introduce a bunch of new chords in every section. So let's go ahead and dive in. Holy Forever, hopefully you've heard the song. It has an intro melody and it sounds like this. Okay, that's kind of foreshadowing the chorus. Actually, no, sorry. No, yes, the chorus melody. It's foreshadowing that for us. So, all the angels cry, right? Now, to beef up the piano player's melody, I'll often do octaves like this. And because my sustain pedal is on, it kind of blurs all the notes together. So hopefully that doesn't get distracting. But so your choice, you can do melody with one finger or one note or with octaves. Let's go ahead and just walk through this intro. If I were to approach this from a simplistic perspective, I'm going to do single notes in my right hand and triads in my left hand. Here we go. 1,000 generations, right? So that's the intro. Hopefully that made sense. The idea there, because there's not a written lead line in notation for us, it does just require us to understand how to hear that in a song. If you need help understanding how do you know what melody notes to play when you're listening to a lead line, my suggestion and encouragement is to understand your intervals, 1, 2, 3, 1, 6, as well as giving every single note in your scale a degree number. In other words, a Nashville number is what they call that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, or 8. I do the same thing with chords. First chord, second chord, third chord, 4, 5, 6, 7, back to 1. So sometimes I'll refer to chords as numbers, and melody lead lines are the same thing. This video module is not necessarily about how to hear melodies, so we're gonna jump right back in to our chords. So our first chord, C major, 1,000 generations. You are more than welcome to play C right here. What I'd like to tell a lot of my students though is you can also pick one of a C inversion. So C root position, it sounds great. C first inversion, C second inversion. And because it's starting to get pretty bright, I might come down an octave. I think this is a little bit warmer than per se up here, right? It's just warmer. 1,000 generations. Now, what am I doing? I am playing C first inversion just because I feel like it's right next door to chords like F major or F add 2. We'll talk about that in a second. A minor is pretty close by. This is A minor inverted, or you can just come right here. I personally, out of preference, just enjoy C first inversion for this song. I'll do octaves in my left hand to support the bass note. Sometimes I'll do fifths and octaves. I call this 1-5-8 because you'll notice that fifths are kind of like a lazy C major chord just without the third. I feel like it's a really good supportive left hand position. That's really strong. That's a little bit more open. So it kind of just depends on what sounds good to you. So I'm going to walk you through what I would do for the first two lines, and then I'll break down what some of these chords mean. Here we go. 1,000 generations falling down in worship, sing the song of ages to the Lamb. Right? All who've gone before us, all who will believe, sing the song of ages to the Lamb. So let's talk about that. F2, what does that mean? It means F major, add the second note away from F. So some people play F suspended 2, not major, not minor, but suspended. My favorite kind of chord is a sus2. But F2, they didn't specify a sus right here. They just told us to play the 2, which means add the 2 on top of the F. Sometimes the chord chart will say F add 2 in parentheses. Sometimes they throw in some random words like that. So here's F add 2. F major, F add 2, and I find that this is very close to C first inversion. All right, so that's a nice little transition. So go back to C, then come to A minor 7. What is A minor 7? A minor 7 is essentially having the root, 3rd, 5th, and minor 7th stacked on top. All right, these are called extensions. You can keep going. Extensions get pretty high, up to like 15 and such. But A minor 7, pretty fancy, right? But just like you can borrow in math, I'm gonna borrow that G right there, the 7th note away from A, because this is a 7th interval right here. I'm gonna borrow that G, and who says I can't put that G right here? And check it out, I have an A minor 7 because the distance between these two notes is still 7. A minor 7, A minor 7, okay? That's kind of my personal approach to minor 7s. What is a G sus? God's favorite chord, G sus. That's your joke of the day. There's not a number here. It's not telling us which suspended chord. Is it a G sus 2? Is it a G sus 4? It doesn't actually specify, which is kind of frustrating to me. But I've just learned to understand that they typically mean G sus 4 in those situations when they don't specify what number comes after the G sus. It's typically a G sus 4, not G major, not G minor, not G major 7 or whatever. It's G suspended 4, so it's suspended between the minor or major 3rd. It's not B, but C. Welcome to suspended chords, my personal favorite. And then F2, right back to where we were. So then we repeat that. C major, F2, C major, A minor 7, G sus, F2. Notice how in my left hand I've been mostly doing fifths, except for C, because I just feel like the lower you get on the piano, those shorter intervals kind of sound muddier, and depending on how low you go, right, they can get pretty muddy. So that fifth is what I'm doing for most of the chords, but for C, just octaves. It's really a preferential thing. You can totally do fifths, triads, 1-5-8, octaves. The higher you go up on the piano, it kind of just depends on what you think feels right in the left hand, what makes it sound full. That's my approach to left hand. Let's keep going. I don't think there's any new chords here. We haven't done, G natural yet in this song, nor have we done D minor 7s. Let's take a look. We've got your name is the highest, your name, G major natural, is the greatest, your name, A minor 7, stands above them all. And while there's all that space in between chords, I like to give it a little bit of rhythm, like a pulse and pulse and pulse, and those are like your basic quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I do it with my right hand mostly so that my left hand kind of provides this illusion that It's holding out the note. I just realized my face is kind of small, so I'm going to get bigger. Hey, there we go. And let's keep going. All powers and positions, your name. Here's D minor 7. Stands above them all. We have D minor natural. It's a triad. And just like we took that 7th, like we did with A minor, this is a 7th, octaves, 7ths, right? I took that C and I put it right there. Who says we can't do that? It's awesome. It's way less work than stretching your pinky up high, and it's one less finger. Because I don't need to put this D on here because I have a D right there. So I can put my thumb there and there's D minor 7. Sometimes if you're feeling sassy, like I am all the time, you can add a 9. Whoa, Daniel, what's that? Well, D, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. E is the 9th away from this D, as long as my 7th note is present. It's weird how extensions work. If the 7 is available, then the 9 becomes available as well. Pretty cool. You kind of stack extensions if you want to be sassy. Okay, so we've got a slash chord in the chorus. Let's talk about it. All the angels cry, holy, all creation cries. What am I doing here? This is a C major, your choice of C root position, first inversion, second inversion, it does not matter. It's basically telling us C major on top, aka the treble clef, the right hand. And this is not saying C with an E major right here or E minor. A lot of kids do that. They'll play E minor or something. This is telling us major chord over the bottom, which is the bass clef, aka the bass guitar is hitting an E there. So we have C over E, right? Whatever kind of C inversion or voicing you want to do. So that's C over E. You can do one note, one finger. Pretty simple. Or you can do octaves that kind of help fill it out. Sometimes I'll do what I call 1, 6, 8. Like earlier I was doing 1, 5, 8. This is 1, 6, 8. This is a 6th, and this is an octave, so 1, 6, 8. I think it sounds really pretty. That's A. C sus2. Now I'm getting fancy on you. You can take C major on top, the treble clef, and put it on top of the bass note, but who's to say we can't make our C major nice and pretty? So that's me playing a C sus2, just because I'm sassy. G, stack another G on top just for extra fullness. That's called a C2 over E. But the chart, Daniel, says C over E. I know, I just like to be expressive with the chords that I think are simple. So that's a simple C, might as well turn into a nice pretty C2 over E. So nice. Then we're back to A minor 7. You are lifted high, D minor 7. Holy forever. Check this out. We started the song, I picked C first inversion. This is an F sus2, right, by itself. But if my C is present on the bass note, now look what's hiding in the middle. C sus4. Daniel, the chord chart doesn't say C sus4. I know. If it says C sus without a number, we specified that it typically means 4. So we have C major, that thumb goes to F. You now have C sus4 or C sus, back to C. Holy forever. All right. I'm a big fan of inversions wherever I can apply them to save us time and, transitions from one thing to the next. Let's see if there's anything that was not been done in the second page. What's a G4, Daniel? Okay, now this is controversial. Please bear with me. I believe that G sus4 could either be this one, G4 could be this one, meaning G major, add a 4. That was a very edgy chord because there's some tension right there. Right, some tension. Very ethereal sounding, kind of cool and cinematic almost. But I oftentimes, guys, will just do a G sus4 there. And that's my speech. Thank you for listening. Yeah, so if it says G sus, I'll do this one, G sus4. If it says G4, it probably wants us to play G major, add the 4, but it depends if you're feeling like you like that edginess of this tension right here. So once again, a little bit of a preferential approach there. Back to F2, A minor 7, G sus4. We're making progress, guys. We have so far tackled slash chords, top over bottom. We tackled twos, which is F major, add the second note away from your root note. So 1, 2. We've tackled sevens. You can drop your thumb as a shortcut because the distance between those notes is 7. So the trick there is drop your thumb. There's G major. D minor 7, the same thing. Drop your thumb. Super cool. Make it fancy if you want to. And then C sus is right next door to C major. First inversion, that is. By the way, a fun little plug about rhythm. If you're not quite sure how to fill up a song, with your classical background or whatever your background is, how to fill up a song rhythmically to support the band, I find that quarter note pulses with the right hand is a really good place to start. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and so forth. This might be too simple for you. Maybe I'm talking way too fast, or maybe this is super helpful. I hope it's helpful. How to read chord charts. And now we're at the bottom of the page. So if you made it this far, great job, everybody. We tackled sus chords, add 2 chords, some minor sevens, some slash chords, also known as polychords. And in the key of C, it's pretty self-explanatory. Thankfully, there's no flats or sharps in this song. So you can kind of have fun knowing that all the notes in the key of C are fair game. You don't have to worry about, maybe that's going to be a bad note right there. So the last thing I'm going to say, I feel like I skipped over it. What do these dots mean? This would be quarter note 1, the second beat, the third beat, and then on the fourth quarter note, the fourth beat, they want us to play A minor. So in other words, the intro, which we forgot to tackle, those dots, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then every other little bar, these little, slashes, parentheses, it's telling us 4 beats per measure. So 4 counts in each of these bars. In other words, hold this chord out and this chord out for 4 beats. Hold this one out for 3, this one for 1. Hold this one out for 2, and this one for 2. It's kind of how they're wanting us to play that. And if you listen to the recording, you'll notice if you count the quarter notes, it'll be the exact same thing. So I hope that helps, everybody. Thanks for watching this first module. And then the next module, we'll talk about how to spice up your boring chords and make them awesome chords. See you there.